Hi, today I just wanted to make a short video about childhood anger, um, about toddlers and the terrible twos. So basically when we as adults feel anger, that tells us that something is wrong and we need to fix it. So anger is a signal that we have a problem and we need to solve that problem. However, when children get angry, they don't have the verbal capacity to articulate what is going on, so they will throw a temper tantrum. And it is extremely important to tell them to use their words. And I know that this is a common phrase that we all say to our kids, but I want to explain the importance behind that because it leads to managing their emotions, and it leads to helping them transition from the infant stage, the baby stage, to a more mature stage and grow. So without helping them and guiding them, they don't transition, and they are still stuck in the place where they think that if they cry, they're going to have to get their needs met. So all they had to do when they were babies was just cry. We give them a bottle and they're happy. So that they don't grow out of that. So that is not something they grow out of by the time they're 3. It's something that has been reinforced by giving them, but by giving them what they want and just constantly, reinforcing the system, basically. So remember that kids do not automatically grow out of the terrible twos. Now they have three-agers, and now what is starting to come is they're prescribing amphetamines and ADHD medicines to little kindergartners, and I mean I've heard that they've prescribed it to even younger. So big pharma sees this as a market and they're trying to take advantage of it. So sadly that's where we're heading as a society if we don't take ownership of our parental roles and guide our children and teach them life skills. So what happens if you don't properly transition your child is then they grow up to have adult temper tantrums. So when they don't get their way, they get extremely angry and pissed off, and they think the world revolves around them. And I've seen it, and it is ugly. So teaching your children how to regulate their emotions starts with asking them to use your words, and then helping them along with that by telling them how they're feeling. Like, you're feeling very angry right now, you're feeling frustrated, use your words. What are you angry at? And that will teach them how to regulate their emotions. So an interesting fact, in the late 40s, Dr. Spock's parenting book was published, and this was the first parenting book. It was he pioneered the industry, I guess, and he was selling his books like, I mean, parents were buying them in droves because that was the only thing that they had to go by, and it was as popular to see one of those books in a household as it was to see a Bible in the household at that time. So in his book, a popular technique that is still used today actually is punishing your children by giving them a timeout. So that just contributes to their anger. So Dr. Spock recommended when they have their outbursts and when they're naughty and they are having their temper tantrums, put them in timeout. And what is the, has anyone read any research about how that's worked out since? I have not, but I do know another interesting fact that a couple of years later, in the early 50s, that is when the term the terrible twos were coined. So if you think about how widely this book was used throughout our country, and then all of a sudden a couple of years later, now a negative outcome has come about. So I mean, you would think if it was a helpful book there would be like a successful outcome, but no. So this terrible two thing is a myth. It's definitely a myth, and if we continue to accept it, well then you know, we're just doing our children a disservice. We should be teaching them life skills such as managing their emotions, because who better to teach your children these skills than you, because you have their best interests at heart. So if you don't teach them, they will learn it. They'll learn it from their friends, they'll learn it from the television, they'll learn it from the internet, they'll learn it from their peers. I think I already said that. And they will learn it from their teachers who probably don't share the same views as you. So that's it. So basically, just we are parents and we have to take responsibility, and we need to guide our children through life, and we need to be our own advocates, because obviously some things that are published and in the industry